Welcome to Scrub In, a podcast powered by Bay Health. I'm your host, Sarah Beebe.
And I'm your co-host, Tyler Cody.
Step into the studio with us as we scrub in and dive deep into asking, what is your why? A conversation committed to inspiring purpose in each other.
Here we offer personal and practical lessons directly from our community members that unite, grow, and empower us all.
Tyler, welcome back.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
How have you been? It's been a few weeks since we've talked.
I know it's been about a month since our last recording. I've been doing pretty well, so I'm just excited for summer, obviously. We had a cold spell, so I'm
We
very
did.
excited for that to change.
That and a surge.
Yes, we've had a surge at the hospital, so influx of patients, trying to figure out how to best manage all of that.
Yeah.
So,
That can be difficult.
can
Well, today we're going to take kind of a different path and we're going to look to our community.
Yes.
And so we're going to be talking with Cathy Kanefsky, the president and CEO of the Food Bank of Delaware, which serves many of our patients, our community. We collaborate with as a hospital. So I'm really excited to hear her story.
yes, absolutely. How are you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good,
Thanks for
welcome.
having me.
Yeah. Before we get started, we like to start with a quote. And so our quote today is, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness." And that's from Desmond Tutu.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hope is a great, strong word.
My
Yes.
favorite word.
Yes, it is.
I love
We
that.
talked about that.
I love that. So Cathy, tell us about yourself.
Sure. I'm Cathy. I live here in Delaware with my family. My husband and I have three sons. We have 32-year-old twins and a 30-year-old who is married and just gave us our first grandchild.
Oh, that's so
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have a little granddaughter named Lucy. I work here at the food bank. It's been a culmination of a lot of different stops along my career. And I say this all the time, it's the absolute best place I've ever been. I've always worked for places that are really close to my heart in terms of mission connection. And I kind of struggled with whether or not the food bank would be one of them because it doesn't tie so strongly. My twins were born 4 months early, 32 years ago. So the odds were against them for sure. And they spent 4 months in the NICU and then were diagnosed with autism. So I worked for Autism Speaks. I worked for the March of Dimes. I worked for the Children's Hospital. And now I'm here at the food bank. And I'd love to tell you why I'm here. So I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit about that and
Absolutely.
why that's a fit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the food bank has just expanded. There's a new building. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. Yes. So I actually was there this morning and just drove over. It is unbelievable. If you have a chance to come over and visit, we'd love to show you. If you have a need to come visit us, please come, and we'd love to help you. It was 3 years in the making. We had a presence in Milford, right across the street, just about a mile away, but it was a 16,000 square foot facility. We just opened a 70,000
Wow.
square
wow.
foot facility that is just state of the art. It has so much to offer the community, and we're super excited.
Awesome. And where is it located exactly?
It's on right on off of Airport Road.
Okay.
It's in the little park with the Veterans Home and Boys and Girls Club
Okay.
and the Hospice Center.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Corporate
wonderful.
Boulevard.
Yeah. In fact, I just passed not the center, but I actually passed one of your parking lot drop-offs
Yes.
yesterday, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be talking to Cathy tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I was so excited to see, first of all, the number of cars that were lined up and the number of people that were helping to pass things out. And it was just, I could tell even just by driving by that it was quite an operation and
Yeah.
just a labor of love.
That's one of the many ways we get food out to the community are those mobile pantries, we call them, where we
Okay.
just go up and we take our truck and we park and, and people come. And you said it was great to see. It is great to see, but it's also a little bit bittersweet to see how many cars are lined up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how many people continue to need food. We have not seen a drop in the need. I think everybody thought after COVID kind of started to subside, but I keep saying, did it? Right?
Yeah,
Is it
right.
ever going away? But COVID helped to shine a light on food insecurity for so many people, and that there was help to be had, even if they've had those struggles forever and just didn't know or felt ashamed, to go ask for help. And I think the fact that everybody needed help in that time,
Yes.
Yeah.
it took the stigma away. So now COVID is not gone, but it's certainly the pandemic era of what made people have to come out and need food, I think is a little bit different, but our numbers continue to grow.
Yeah.
So it's not going away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like during COVID, we focused a lot on what was going on in the hospital and not actually what was happening in the community. So it's great that you're able to reach people,
Yeah.
do that during COVID.
Yeah. Well, and Delaware, from what I understand, has always struggled. We have much higher numbers than people think, because often we don't see that side of our state. We see the beaches and we
Right.
see, our president and things like that, but we don't necessarily see what's happening in the rest of the state. And is that correct that Delaware has struggled with
Yes.
food insecurity?
Oh, absolutely. In every pocket of the state, too. I think that's a little bit of a fallacy. Oh, the beaches. Oh, that's,
Yeah.
we don't see anybody that's homeless, or we don't see
Right.
anybody needing food there. And that's just so not the case.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
My guess is somebody's living in a neighborhood for 10 years. There are people in that neighborhood that you don't know need help,
Yeah.
because people have a good way of hiding it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing that's one of the things that you really don't want people to know anything about. I can remember as a kid, we did end up needing some public assistance, and there was no way I was telling anybody that we were taking any of those services or anything like that. And sometimes it was hard to find too. So yeah.
We're not hard to find
No,
anymore. Not
no.
at all. And quite honestly, we have so many ways that we get food into the community. So you can come to us for sure. And I'd love to talk a little bit about our Healthy Pantry Center and the way it's set up now. It's more like a grocery store than pulling up to a warehouse and having somebody bring you out food. Totally different experience.
That's nice.
But we also have home delivery. So home delivery started with Amazon and DoorDash were helping us. But I'd like to talk about both actually, because when do you not see an Amazon truck on your street dropping off something to somebody, right? And
Right.
DoorDash, same thing. People order pizza and have it delivered by DoorDash. And so we were using those two entities. We're much more partnering with Amazon now. As COVID ended, the ability for DoorDash to kind of partner with us in the same way kind of started to subside, and Amazon has picked up and filled in that gap. But they deliver food to people. So with the home delivery program is somebody that can't get to us if
Yeah.
they're homebound, or if they're working 3 jobs during the day
Yeah.
and they just can't
That's a
get
huge
to.
factor.
So the home delivery goes into a neighborhood and drops it off very discreetly.
That's awesome.
To your point, nobody wants somebody to know.
Right.
So it doesn't look like somebody's getting the food truck,
Yeah.
Is pulling up and
Just a
dropping
standard
something off.
shipment.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. During the height of the pandemic, when the kids were out of school, in the school district that we were in, the food service workers and the school bus drivers partnered in our district and went around and had food. And I think the stigma was part of the issue. First of all, some people didn't know that the buses were parking in different places in our communities, and you could go get food for your kids because we didn't have open schools. But I wonder if the stigma had something to do with it as well, because I can remember people saying, like, we don't care if you have food at home, we need this, we need you to come get this food. We need this service to continue for everybody who doesn't have food.
Correct.
And so, so it's interesting that that's cool that you've partnered with Amazon and
Yeah,
DoorDash.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else about the food bank while we're on the topic?
Yes. So let me tell you about the new food bank. And
Yes.
this does not take away from
70,000 square feet.
it's really a carbon copy of what we've had in Newark. So
Okay.
our food bank headquarters have been in Newark, and our facility there is 80,000 square feet. So that to the 17, that we had previously was a stark difference. Now to have this, almost the same size facility in the southern part of the state. It's helping in so many ways. It's helping us be more efficient. We didn't have the warehouse space to accept food in Milford before, so we had to get it in Newark and then get it down to Milford and then from there distribute. So now it's coming directly. If you walk in our warehouse, I got chills walking through the warehouse the other day because it's full. It's full and it's coming
wonderful.
directly to us. But our Healthy Pantry Center is what we call, where folks come up and they can just, come to us every 2 weeks. If you need food, you come in. But we had it, as I said, we had volunteers who would pack up, take it out to your car, which is great. But now we have people coming in, and I overheard somebody saying, I'm going. I said, what do you, well, I didn't overhear him. I asked him, I said, so what are you here for today? And they said, we're coming to the food bank. I was like, yep, yes, you are, and you're here. But what are you here for? And they said, we're going to the grocery store.
Oh,
And
that's
I
That's
thought,
perfect.
oh my gosh. So I just stood in the corner and I watched for about 10 minutes. And we have volunteers that, greet the people that are coming in. We do a little bit of an intake. We have them wait in a waiting area where we have resources for them. We have our own staff in there helping them if they need benefits, outreach kind of work. Do you need financial coaching? Do you need help with what to do with that food, with nutrition counselors? So all that's happening before they walk in. But what I was watching was the volunteers saying, okay, here comes so-and-so. They have a shopping cart and they walked around with them and they said, okay, that shelf there, take 4. You can take 4 of anything you want. And the look on people's face, because they got to pick what they want. I think one of the most, I don't know what the word is, it's not respectful. So disrespectful things that we do is assume that just because somebody's hungry, we can decide what they want and need.
Yeah.
And we put it in a box and we take it out and they should be thankful. Right? Who shouldn't have the opportunity to choose and what they want, and particularly what they need, because there may
Yes.
be some health concerns or religious, whatever that person's bringing to us, we should be able to honor.
Yeah,
Being able to
absolutely.
provide that choice is an absolute benefit. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's really
deserves a choice.
They do.
Yeah. Oh, that's so wonderful. So the Food Bank of Delaware serves our entire state. Is that unusual compared to other states? I
It is.
assume so.
Yes. Yeah.
We're a
So-
small state, but
We
still.
are, but even other small states have multiple
Okay.
food banks. We're very unique in being, I think we might be the only state that is just a one food bank.
Wow.
State. And like our neighbors in Jersey, we work super closely with them and they have 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they work closely together, but
Sure.
it's different.
Yeah. And does that make it harder for us to get the needs met in our state, or do you find that it's a benefit that we only have one? How did
That's a good question. I would say it's more a benefit than a hardship.
Okay.
We also, that means that we have one body that's going to our legislatures, to ask for support. We have just a really, really generous corporate community, and to be able to talk about stats, we're talking about 1 in 9 in Delaware, 1 in 7 children in Delaware. We don't have to say in a particular county, right? So we really can talk holistically what those in our state need, and then we can talk to those that we're asking for help.
Yeah.
In that way too.
It creates a unified voice so much easier than having multiple. I was curious, just, a lot of times in Delaware, it is great because we're small and there's usually only one, so we can collaborate easier and things like that. But I was just curious if that affected our food bank as well.
I will say there are people that like to have the mentality of either county or north-south. So we did have a lot of educating to do about, when we were fundraising for the capital campaign for the Milford facility, a northern donor could donate to this because it was helping the state be more
Right.
efficient and effective in our food delivery. But we did have a lot of people say, we like to support northern Delaware.
Upstate stuff.
Yeah,
Downstate
exactly.
stuff.
North of the
Yes.
canal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the good news is they could do that too. So we're
Yes,
fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about you. We'd love to hear what made you go into the service that you do. What's your why?
My why. So I have, I grew up in Ocean City, New Jersey, the baby of 7. I don't think we knew anybody that had, a child that was anything other than healthy. If we did, I don't, that story wasn't shared with me. My siblings all got married and had children, and, here I come, the baby, and I was the straight A student. And, I was daddy's little girl, and everything in my world, I don't think I ever had anything that made me think life was unfair.
Yeah.
And then my husband and I had our first children. We're twins. We were married a year, and along comes Sam and Adam, and they were born 4 months early. I went to work the day before, so it wasn't high risk, and had eggplant parmesan that night and thought it was gas pains. Called the doctor, and he was like, just go to bed, honey. I'm sure it is. We'll check you in the morning. And my husband called him back and said, those gas pains are every 6 minutes. So the boys were born the next day, and they were 1 pound 9 ounces and 1 pound 11 ounces, and this is 32 years ago. So we were counting by hours, and if you've ever gone through something like that, it's like get through the first 24, and then the 48, and then 72,
Day by day.
day by day. And they, I vividly remember the neonatologist meeting me at the sink. They had wheeled me down to see them, and I thought it was just because I was special. Oh, he's meeting me at the sink. He was meeting me at the sink to try to tell me that both boys needed to be on what was called a jet respirator. Their lungs were
Oh,
so
yeah.
tiny. You guys certainly know what that is. They both needed it, and they only had one up and running. And he said, I still mock him now because his nonverbals were horrible. He was jingling his change, and he was just jittery. And I knew he was nervous telling me that. And I just said, okay, so what? He said, I think Adam needs it more, so we're going to put Adam on it, and we're going to work really hard to get another one in. And I said, okay, from where? He said, Utah.
Oh my gosh.
I said, well, Utah's a little too far to get here really fast. And I know I can tell, right? First time of many angels entering our life, I heard, it's up. And a respiratory therapist was working on the other one that was broken, and they got it working.
Wow.
And they both were put on that jet respirator. We know that one of them wouldn't be here
Yeah.
if that hadn't happened. So our life is a lot like that. So they survived, obviously. They have they had a lot of delay. They had a lot of, physical challenges, but they're here, they're happy, they're thriving. And then when they were 5, they were both diagnosed with autism. So we knew they had a lot of delays, but as their mom, I was like, but he's going to catch up, and he's so smart, and I can talk to him,
Right.
And I didn't want to see that for a long time. And autism wasn't all that, it was prevalent. My guess is it just wasn't understood.
Oh, yeah.
So their main symptoms were missed by just about every professional that should have caught them, would have caught them these days. So they, got them into special school, and they've done really well. Stephen, our baby, was born 20 months later. They were only 20 months old when he was born. And we always say, God knew better than we did, because when people say, what were you thinking? We're like, we weren't.
Yep.
That one just came to us.
Yes.
But thank God, because he was born full-term and healthy. He is now a special ed teacher who has his master's in autism and severe disabilities. He was just dropped from heaven, and he really rounded out our family in a great way. So we got that experience too. And I know my why is I believe so strongly that they were given to us for a reason.
Yeah.
And the twins as well. No, I shouldn't say that. All 3 of them have kind of guided my career and where I've landed. So
Yes.
they're my why.
Yeah, absolutely. I also have a child with autism, and your story just really touches my heart, and I've heard it before. But I also have a son who it got missed for a while,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to see it for a while.
Right.
And he's super smart. He didn't actually have academic delays, but he has what would be Asperger's.
Okay.
They no longer call it that, but so super, super smart, but obviously there was something there, and the delays were social and sensory and
Social,
things like
yeah.
that. And actually getting that diagnosis, although there's a grieving process, there's also some relief in getting a diagnosis.
For us, it was finally an answer. You're
Absolutely.
right. Absolutely.
Yes. I thought it was our parenting style that we weren't
Yeah.
weren't doing the right things, or and so it's and just what a light having an autistic child is in the family. We were just doing homework last night, and my son takes everything so literally. And so there was a question about an author and their writing style, and he said, well, I didn't see his handwriting. And,
Yep.
that's such a kid on the spectrum kind of response,
That very
because
much is.
it's so literal, and it's those moments that just do bring light to your day.
One of my son's teachers, I want to say they never went to school in like the regular class age. So it was probably typically maybe a 3rd or 4th grade level for others, taught them their class taught sarcasm.
Oh.
And it was like, if you know anybody in my family, we all have quite a bit of sarcasm in the way
Yes.
we go through life, but they didn't get it.
No.
And she said the way she taught it was she would say, oh my gosh, enjoy that soda in a red cup. And she would just sit and wait for a minute, and you watch like all the kids sitting in a circle, and then finally she'd go, right. So now if we're ordering pizza, I did it last night. Do you want, you ordered the flounder pizza, right, Sam? And he'll go, right. And it's just, the little extras that they take, but it brings us all back to someplace really good, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
My
There's
son will
innocence.
regularly ask, "Is that sarcasm?"
Oh,
And
Yeah,
I'll
that's
say,
good.
"Yeah, that was
Yeah, that- yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I do not want you to have broccoli pizza. It's okay."
That's funny.
So, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, so you have a wonderful family. What do you do when you are not at the food bank?
Oh my goodness, uh, we do a lot. We have a lot of fun. So, the second part of what got me my why to coming to where I am now. So they had all those challenges in their childhood. They got along pretty well. We got
Yeah.
them through life pretty well. And like I said, they're 32. When Sam was 27, in 2018, he had a brainstem stroke. So at that point, I was working at Nemours as the chief development officer, and he is of the two of them has more capability. He's the one that learns no sarcasm, and his life turned upside down again, and so did ours. And so he was in a wheelchair. He came home in a wheelchair with a feeding tube, and we thought, okay, there's our life. Here we go again. So we were just, you never let go of dreams. You just keep adjusting them. And we thought, okay, this will be okay. And he never in a million years even considered the alternative. He ditched that feeding tube. He now walks. And when I was struggling with, and I say this all the time, if you wake up in the morning and with a pit in your stomach and you just don't want to get out of bed because you don't want to go to work or whatever it is, it's time to look for a change. Because we all need
so
hope,
true.
right? On the day I get up and I don't have hope, I go back to bed.
Right.
And I was starting to feel that. I wasn't in the right spot in my professional career. And so I started, I really did. I started looking to see what was next. And the food bank came to me as an opportunity. And I actually, the first time somebody mentioned it, I was like, the food bank? No. Why? I couldn't even wrap my head around how that would ever match my experience.
Very
And how could I?
different,
And a dear friend said, you know what? Take the word food away from food insecurity, because he knows our story, knows what our life has been. He said, you tell me the day you knew what the next day was going to be. That's my why for being at the food bank, because
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
every single person that pulls up and parks and goes in that room I talked about and sits with somebody and just to go in and get food, or somebody that's sitting in that car waiting hours and wasting their gas just to get food
Yeah.
because something happened to them,
Exactly.
that's put them there. And then that helps us all, I think, kind of wrap our arms around. So that's another little important part of my why.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I can talk about the fun stuff we do outside of work.
Yeah, yeah. So you have season tickets to Phillies games.
Phillies, we absolutely do.
So you're a sports family.
We're
Phillies fanatics.
baseball. Well, but my boys will tell you, and my husband, that they're also Orioles fans.
Oh,
So we have an American League
Okay.
and a National
Oh.
League team, and we used to have Orioles tickets, Sunday season tickets, and then when I started working for Nemours, they were the official children's
Yes.
hospital of the Philadelphia Phillies, and part of my job was all the fanfare stuff that the hospital did. So we got to know the Phillies like on a friendly basis. We knew, John Middleton,
Oh,
the
awesome.
owner, walk
Yeah.
through, hey,
Oh
how
my
you
gosh.
doing? How are your boys? Right? So we switched.
Yeah.
We got our season tickets there instead. But we love baseball. And I think what I love about baseball is you can sit outside for a whole afternoon. Adam listens to his music. He doesn't really pay attention. Sam knows every play of everybody and everybody's history. And it's just a good thing to do as a family. So that's a biggie for us. We love Disney World.
Who
We
doesn't?
used to go to Disney World every year, but COVID changed that.
We are a huge Disney family, and Disney is also very accommodating to
Yes.
kids with needs. So
And
the fact that we can get a disability access pass and bypass some of the lines because we have a child that can't wait in lines, or they understand when a child needs a sensory break,
Yep.
even though it is the most overstimulating place in the world. It is, yes,
Yeah.
we are the same way.
Yep. So we love the beach, in the summertime. But the other thing and this, I think the boys have shaped our lives in so many different ways, and including music. They love. They're very eclectic. Their taste is but they love Beatles. They love Billy Joel. We're going to a Billy Joel concert in March,
Awesome.
which will be, I think, their 9th or 10th concert that they've gone to.
Wow.
And they do great. Like I can't ask Adam to sit for 30 minutes. I don't know, name it, but he'll sit in a concert like that, and it's just fun to be able to do those things with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music, travel,
Oh, that's
baseball.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And the beach.
and
Yeah.
and the beach always.
That's our favorite as
Yeah.
well.
We
Yeah.
talk about the beach on every episode. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's coming soon. The groundhog did not see his shadow today.
Okay.
Oh, there we
okay.
go.
Well,
Oh, that's
promising.
right. Today
Yeah.
is February
Yeah.
2nd and the groundhog. Yes.
Yeah. So Sam's like, darn, I really wanted more winter. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sarcastic. Yeah.
I know. I know my kids would just love, one really good snowstorm. They got a little bit of one, but they really want like one more snow day.
Yeah.
I might
But
like
yes.
one more snow day myself. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be all right.
It
Just
one
doesn't
more
come
pretty
until
snow.
March.
Yeah.
Let's wait till next year.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? This has been so much fun to talk to you.
The only thing I would feel remiss if I didn't say, there are so many ways for you to help, for people to help us. This is a heavy lift for the food bank these days. When I started just about 3 years ago, we were still very, very, very flush with donations and support from both the federal and the state government in helping to provide the food that then we provide throughout the state. A lot of that has dried up, and I'm sure everybody's heard of ARPA funds. It was an anomaly to have that kind of money, and it was fantastic, but it's not there anymore. And what we're seeing is, as I said before, the need is not going away. It's getting stronger.
Yeah.
And food costs, everybody knows food costs are getting higher, and gasoline. To then, when you think about, we have to get the food places, so all of our costs have escalated. And I just don't know that everybody fully understands that, when the food bank is giving out food, we're providing it at no cost to everybody we provide it to. So we really do need, we need the help. And thank you to Bay Health. You guys did a fantastic food drive for us for the month of January.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference to be able to have, that support from the community in both, whether it be food or funding for us to be able to purchase what we need to purchase. I throw that out there. In addition to volunteering opportunities, if you want to get involved, call me. There's a way to get involved in this work, and you won't be sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was one thing to me that I read your, some of your answers ahead of time. We do plan ahead a little bit, and to read that every piece of food that's given out is given out for free, and that that has to get paid for somewhere.
Yeah.
And to hear just how wonderful it is, and the new facility and the facility up in Newark, and the fact that people can shop as if they're in a grocery store, as opposed to just a warehouse with pallets and things like that.
Yeah.
Just it's
And
so
the other
wonderful.
piece of what we have to offer now too is all of our workforce development training. So we
Yeah,
have
that too.
culinary training, and the this culinary school and the kitchen school are two different tracks of our culinary training. Culinary school we've had for years, and that's like our second chances. A lot of our folks are coming out of prison or rehab or different reasons that they've landed with us. The kitchen school's new, and that's specifically tailored for people with intellectual disabilities. And that came as a result of partnering with the Restaurant Association, because the restaurants were hurting. Again,
Yeah.
go back a couple years ago. So we have those two trainings for folks that are getting trained and going into I will say, not just restaurant, but the hospitality industry. One of our young ladies that graduated works in a middle school cafe or
Okay.
cafeteria, because it was more in her wheelhouse and routine to be able to do that. And then people are thrilled that we're having our Logic training here in Milford now too. We never did that before. We didn't have the space, but Logic is logistics, operations, and warehouse training. So
Wow.
all three of those things are happening at any given time in that building. That's so beautiful.
That's wonderful. I had no idea that you were also doing all of that. I
Mm-hmm.
see the trucks and I hear the ads and things like that, but wow, just so much. And
Yeah.
that's so wonderful.
So much.
It really
Yeah.
demonstrates your commitment to Delaware, and especially Southern Delaware as well, with building this new facility.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
fantastic.
Provide food for today and food for tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This
Thank
was so
you.
wonderful. It was
It's
fun to, I've met you before, but being able to sit down and really chat with you has been great. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much,
Thanks for
Cathy.
having me.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe by hitting the plus or follow button. You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
And remember to stay committed to the why.